Hey, I'm Nav Sanga and I run Wrongbar in Toronto, Canada. Wrongbar opened in the fall of 2007. I'd actually had my eyes on this particular spot that Wrongbar's in for a couple of years. The landlord chose somebody else. They put in a fine dining restaurant or something, so I stalked him. His name's Abe, and I called him like nonstop for 2 years. And finally, I picked up the phone one day, and it was Abe. He's like, "Okay, it's time."
The first time I met Nav was also my first day working for Wrongbar. I was begging him for a job, and one day I just showed up, introduced myself, and he put me to work that day. I've been there ever since for about 7 years.
One night, we had Fake Blood playing the club, and I believe it was like his second time playing there. It was absolute mayhem. And I remember just being completely swamped, like not prepared. It was the funniest thing. I swung open the front door to the club, and there's a mob of people outside of the club, and I recognized this one dude, and I was like, "Hey, can you work now?" And just like grabbed him, and that was it. And Steve's been part of Wrongbar. I'd definitely be in a lot of trouble without Steve.
The first time that we got brought in as Natural Animal to DJ, it was closing for Sirkin. The place was completely packed and sweaty, and we were both super nervous. And we went on, and sure enough, didn't mess it up, and that birthed into Saturday Night Residency for just over 2 years.
For me, I was like, I really want a place where it's not a dance club, but people can still, appreciate this music. It was all about taking dance and electronic music out of the, very typical dance club environment and trying to have something a little more gritty, a little more like a pub, a lot like the Queen's Head, which is where I had a lot of fun playing back around that time.
What's special about the room, I would say the history, all types of acts from, as popular as Drake all the way down to the local bedroom producer who no one knows. The breadth of acts you get in Wrongbar is pretty amazing.
The concept of Wrongbar is not limiting ourselves to one sound. I grew up on punk rock. That's the first music I was in love with, was like hardcore bands, the hardcore scene here in Toronto. The power of music is so much more important than like, I'm a minimal techno DJ, I'm a progressive house DJ, I'm a this DJ. There's something running through all of it. And that's kind of what we want to be part of.
Wrongbar's had a lot of great artists come that a lot of people didn't really know about. I mean, I think Gautier played Wrongbar, and their next play was like the ACC or something like that. Good Disclosure is another great one. Aloe Black, like I mentioned earlier, Subtract, Skrillex, obviously. Within, I think, 2 years, that guy went from selling out Wrongbar to selling out 2 shows at Cool House.
Luckily we have so many great promoters in this city. You'd be hard-pressed in North America to find as many creative promotional companies as we have in this city.
The Heineken Groom Series has been great for us because it gives us the opportunity to bring in a bigger budget, to create a bigger experience for the people coming through the room, to bring in bigger DJs that maybe we couldn't necessarily do on our own.
The one thing Heineken has really helped us with at the club is they've enabled us to kind of, push this like big DJ, small club way of bookings. I'd say the last 2 to 3 years, we've seen a huge like boom in festival culture, and what that's meant for a lot of small to mid-sized clubs like Wrongbar is it's become a lot more challenging to compete with festivals all across North America. Heineken's definitely been a great supporter. I mean, some of the names they've helped us book, from anything from Hot Chip to The Magician, like a lot of artists that we otherwise may not have been able to host at Wrongbar, they've enabled that for us.
I think Nav does an incredible job booking acts at Wrongbar. He genuinely loves music, and he places that at times above making money.
He's like one of the hardest working guys I know. He does it because he loves the music and he loves the people that come out. Running a business that way is really important.
The thing that drove me to this business was a love for music. I mean, that's the main reason I'm here. But then you get caught up in, in the day-to-day and the mire of running a business. And it's just that constant, constantly reminding yourself that you're here for the music first, and staying excited and making sure that you're kind of exposing yourself and following new music as it's breaking. And that, after all, is what drives the audience. You kind of don't want to lose touch with that.
So we sort of let the music scene dictate what we do. I think right now electronic music, as I said, is sort of moving out of the smaller rooms and into bigger clubs and festivals in the summer. And I think more of a live aspect is going to come back to the room. I think people want to have that sort of organic, like live people, more than just a DJ on stage. And I think that's what we're sort of focusing on.
The best part of my job is it's the music. That's it. It's quite simple. Yeah.